So we've been talking about a lot of things, and especially Waterlox. We're talking about the Waterlox Marine Sealer and Czar Stain mix that was put on this door, and now we're to the finish. We're putting a blend of 50-50. We've got half gloss, half satin to kind of come in between the two for this particular client. And one of the things I want to show here is there is a specific technique to brushing this. Not necessarily the Waterlox, but any finish. When you're doing a paneled door, we have all these corners where when you bring the brush across, we get this running down here. Or if we come across on this corner, we can get a run here, down here at the bottom. Or even in these corners here where we rake the brush over. So that's a good thing though in some cases where we break this brush over the corner. I don't know if you can see that up close, but I'm piling some material in and I'm pushing it into the corners, and it's so satisfying to see this Waterlox really penetrating and soaking into those corners, those small cracks. And we just don't see that out of a marine spar varnish or like the Helmsman spar varnish. The typical products that are used, these products are thick plastic, liquid plastic. Waterlox is a hardening oil, and boy, it's just given such an elegant look on this door. Almost looks like a lacquer, almost like a brushable lacquer, you know, for lack of a better term. But it's just a hardening oil. So we're not going to get the hard shell finish. We're not going to be gluing these panels like we do with the typical finishes available that cause splitting and other problems, peeling of the finish. We have none of those problems with Waterlox. Waterlox doesn't have to be sanded to be recoated even. So when this needs rejuvenated, which it will, probably 2 to 5 years in most cases, any exposure. If we were in full south and west sun, we might be looking at a coat every year, year and a half. But in most cases, this is an east-facing door. This is probably going to be looked at in the year 4. And just a simple freshen up coat, one single coat of the Waterlox Marine finish every couple, 2 or 3 years. Never peeling again, never will be stripped again. Super waterproofed. The tongue oil is what makes Waterlox so waterproof. This tongue oil's been a natural waterproofer forever. It's used in a lot of finishes, but Waterlox uses the most. I mean, some of these finishes have a little bit of tongue oil, so they can say they're a tongue oil finish, but Waterlox in the resin part of the system, 80% tongue oil. So you're not going to find a better finish for elegant finishing and also very functional finishing of outdoor wood. And again, as we mentioned before, occasionally we may consider the structures. The structures is a translucent, but it's a colored finish. And so sometimes those colored finishes can diminish some of the sparkle in the wood. And so we like the clarity of the Waterlox. We like the elegance of the Waterlox. And again, the non-plastic look of the Waterlox. So one more panel here real quick, I'll show you. So you want to put the right amount of material, and it does seem crazy brushing this entire door with a 3.5-inch brush. We could use a big pad applicator, we could use a wider brush, but I've got all these small areas, and really the biggest area is single areas of panel, so we can do those real quick. So it really wouldn't be practical to switch brushes for each of these different surfaces. It's taking us about 20 minutes now just to get across the door one time. And we're going to put this first coat of marine finish on today. We're going to let it dry for 3 or 4 days. Then we're going to come back and we're going to do a light sand, possibly. Just a very light sand, maybe no sand at all, just for some roughness. This door has been through a sandblast and then a final sanding. So each coat gives you an opportunity to smooth the door a little more. But boy, we've got it sanded down nice. We sanded the second coat of sealer. And so this is really turning out all just like a piece of furniture outside. This beautiful door. Wish you could see it up close, but so we're going to keep moving on. And we want to look for the very particular areas where we talked about. We want to double check here. We'll double check here at the bottom of this panel, make sure there's no extra there. We don't want runs, those look terrible. But if you do this in an organized fashion, we're not crossing over these places. We do our final smoothing with the brush at an angle so we don't get over those corners, and then just a nice light finish, and we'll move on.